Peace and blessings, everyone. So we have this super full moon, the closest that this moon has been, or that the moon has been to the Earth in about 70 years. And so that's energy that we should definitely be taking advantage of, and that's what I'd like to do here. I hope that you can hear me. So I've already smudged, I've transmuted all negative and harmful energy in this space into healing, positive energy. So I'm going to do a reading here based on an amateur deck that I have created based on astrology. So we have the planets, we have the signs, we have secondary celestial bodies, we have the various angles like trines, conjunctions, oppositions, squares, all that kind of stuff, sextiles, and we have the houses. So I am asking an 11th house question. You probably can't see that. Oh, there you go. You can see it now. So the 11th house is really all about like community and fellowship and brotherhood and our associations and really our collective body. And so, given everything that we've experienced this past week with the election of Donald J. Trump as the 45th president of the United States and all of the various right wing extremists or just ignorant people who he is placing in positions of power who can do serious harm. I know that a lot of people are feeling dismayed. A lot of people are feeling really disheartened and disempowered by everything that's going on here. But I believe that all these things happen for a reason. All these things happen for our own growth and our own evolution. That's what I believe. So I am going to take a moment now and invite spirit into this reading, invite spirit into this place. I'm going to take a moment and invite our benevolent ancestors. If you're watching this, your benevolent ancestors, my benevolent ancestors. I've lit a candle for them. I have offered them a fresh apple offering. So I've invited them into this space to help us with this reading, to help give me understanding, and to help lead my hands and help guide my intuition so that I will draw the cards that speak most authentically and most powerfully to this moment that we're in right now. My question with regard to the 11th house is, where do we go from here? Where do we, as one unit, as one body, as one human society, as one human species, where do we go from here? How do we move forward in a way that is helpful and productive and healing and really transformative? How are we to act in this moment as one unit? So that's the question that I'm asking. And right now I'm just shuffling through the planet cards to see if there are any planets that Spirit would like us to pay attention to in terms of how we can move forward. So I'm pulling this card, I'm laying it down. I don't know what the card is. And now I'm moving on to the signs, and I'm shuffling and I'm asking Spirit, this planet has something to speak to us about this moment that we are in right now. So how should this planet be operating in us collectively? Where should we go from here? Uh-oh. Where should we go from here, Spirit? Okay. And now I'm going to ask if there are any additional celestial bodies, any additional energies that can help us move forward, that will provide us greater insight and greater power in moving forward as a collective unit. Let's see what Spirit and ancestors have to say about that. Okay. I looked at this card because in that pile there's another card that says second planet. And so I need to know, I need to look at it to know if I need to pull a second planet or not. But this one is not second planet. It was actually the South Node card is the card that I pulled. Give me just one moment. Okay, I'm back. So I pulled the card for the South Node, which is what we are leaving behind. The South Node points to where we've come from, the lessons that we should have learned, the lessons that we need to have finished in order to continue our evolution towards our North Node, towards our evolutionary North Star. So the South Node is a card that I pulled. So I'm going to pull another sign card. But before I do that, I'm going to actually look at this one and see, okay? Because I have to put it back into the deck. So I need to know what card it was that I pulled. So our South Node is our collective South Node. What is that South Node? What is that energy that we should be leaving behind as we move towards the future? Hmm. Let me see, where was it? Okay. All right, so with regard to our 11th house question about how we as a collective body can move forward together, this is what the planet, this is what Spirit had to say to us, okay? So, Saturn. Saturn was the card that I pulled. And it's Saturn in Cancer. So, I was just talking about Saturn today. So Saturn is a planet that represents the crystallization of matter, right? So Saturn is the lord of matter. Saturn is the master of the material realm. Saturn pressurizes us to get us to make our abstract ideas concrete. So Saturn tells us, for example, when I was born, Saturn was in Sagittarius. So my challenge with Saturn is all about my ideals, my values, my higher visionary self, making those things part of my concrete and daily reality, being disciplined with regard to that. So I pulled Saturn in Capricorn. Now we know that, I mean, not in Capricorn, I'm sorry, in Cancer, which is actually quite interesting too. I'm going to get to that later. So Saturn in Cancer. Cancer is a water sign, so it deals with our deeper selves, our emotional selves, our intuitive, more spiritual selves. Um, and it also is a cardinal sign, which means that it's actually an active sign. So a lot of people think of Cancer as like passive aggressive, but it's actually this very active, emotional, intuitive energy that has spiritual ties to it, being governed by the moon. And so what Saturn is pretty much telling us here is that we as a collective body in our 11th house need to make concrete the Cancer aspects of our nature. And if you know, Cancer is all about home. Cancer is all about family. Cancer is all about security and kind of like togetherness and bonding and all that kind of stuff. So in our 11th house now, after the election of Donald Trump, and we're feeling all of this dismay and all of this despair and all of this confusion about how we move forward, and Spirit is telling us that it's time to make concrete our bonds with one another, with understanding and realizing the fact that we are all family, that we're family here on this planet. We are the human family. That is a genetic fact. It's a biological fact. If we go back far enough, we have the same ancestors. If we keep going back and keep going back, eventually we'll connect up on the tree of life, you know? And that extends even to the community of life that we share this planet with. If we keep going back and keep going back in evolutionary time, eventually we'll reach one common ancestor. So we're all family here on this planet. And these cards are telling us that it is time to start acting like it. It's time to incorporate that philosophy into our daily reality, to not see ourselves as black and white or black and Asian or white and Hispanic or, any category, white and indigenous, any category of separation, but to see that we're family and to come together as family and to realize that there is such beautiful security and knowing that we are family and we are bound up in this thing together, and that there is so much healing available if we come together in that way. And that's what Saturn and Cancer is kind of asking us to do. It's asking us to make concrete that bond that we have with each other. So when you see me passing by you, a young black male with locked hair, don't think young black male with locked hair, but think that's my brother or think that's my sister. How do we get through this together? You are my brother, you are my sister. So that's how I am reading this energy here. Um, and also the cards that I drew for any additional energy, planetary energy that can give us some more insight or give us some more assistance in moving forward. So I pulled the South Node, which I talked about earlier. It pretty much represents our past karma, our past and often negative karmic balance that we have to let go of and move towards something new, right? And what was that past karma? Capricorn. So actually, Capricorn and Saturn and Capricorn and Cancer both have a unique relationship. So Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. So they kind of serve the same function. Capricorn is the sign in the zodiac that is very pragmatic and very practical. It's an earth sign. It's a cardinal sign, just like Cancer is a cardinal sign. They're both active signs, but Capricorn is concerned with taking our abstract ideals and turning them into concrete products. Capricorn is all about having a plan. Capricorn is all about moving forward in a very practical and efficient way, right? And so it seems like from this that our past karmic balances have been about a more pragmatic approach to things, a more objective approach to things, a more realistic and grounded approach to things, which doesn't sound bad at all. It sounds like, something that we actually need. But what we're learning here is we've got to develop a more watery, intuitive, emotional, familial approach now in order to survive this thing as a collective body. We can't just be so scientific and concrete about things. We have to open ourselves up to deeper ways of seeing, to deeper ways of feeling and knowing. And so Cancer and Capricorn are actually related on the zodiac. They say that Cancer is the mother of the zodiac and Capricorn is the father of the zodiac. So in some ways, this can represent a shift from a karmic past of patriarchal energy into crystallizing a more matriarchal, goddess based energy, right? So that is how I'm reading these cards. If we are going to move together as one body forward together, the cards are telling us that this is how we're going to do it, by bringing back the mother goddess, right? Let's bring back the mother goddess. And one of the important things to note with the South Node is that whatever your South Node is, for example, when I was born, my South Node is in Leo, my North Node is in Aquarius. So one of the important things to know about that is that your South Node actually has important lessons for you. You had that South Node, that was your node in the past for a reason. There were lessons that you needed to learn in order to be able to move towards your North Node more effectively, right? But now you have to bring those South Node lessons into balance with your North Node strivings. So as we let go of our collective South Node and Capricorn, we have to make sure that we are implementing the lessons of Capricorn as we strive towards a more Cancerian future together. So, yeah, that's what the cards said. That's how I'm interpreting them. Um, so I'll leave here, I guess, with some steps forward or just a question that I'll posit to you. Moving forward, how can you help the collective move forward by manifesting some of these Cancer traits into your life? Really think about Cancer in a deeper, more esoteric way. You know, not just what you hear about Cancer being moody, Cancer being passive aggressive, Cancer being too sensitive, all that kind of stuff. But Cancer has a significant role to play in the zodiac, just like every other sign. It has a wisdom to offer, it has lessons to offer. So, what are those lessons and how can you apply them to your life? You know, how can you be softer in a way that permits you to perceive yourself as one member of the human body? You know, how can you be more nurturing of your connection to other members of the human body? You know, ask yourself those questions. How can I do that on a day to day basis? How can I make myself more receptive to my brothers and sisters? How can I cultivate more empathy within myself towards my brothers and sisters on a daily basis? That's how we are going to get through this as a collective. That's how we're going to do it. That's how we're going to do it. So, that's all I have. Thank you for listening. I hope that you have some time to go and bask in this full moon. It's the full moon in Sidereal Aries. It is a time to push forward, to start a new thing. Now is that time. So, again, thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Be blessed.